Want to learn how to turn this into this? Then don't go away. Hi there, I'm Anja from Peony and Thyme, and today I'm so excited to be sharing with you one of my very favorite blanket patterns. It's for this giant yarn seed stitch blanket. How pretty is that? I just love it. This is seriously one of the easiest, most simple patterns ever, but the texture is just amazing. It looks so classic and beautiful. Yeah, I'm just obsessed with this pattern. I love it. And I really think in the cream, especially too, the classic cream color just looks so beautiful. Yeah, it photographs so well too. Oh my gosh. I started realizing that like all my photos have slowly been taken over with this blanket, either as part of the backdrop or the forefront. Yeah. Anyhow, so today I'm going to walk you through just a step-by-step tutorial of how to make your own giant yarn seed stitch blanket. That's kind of hard to say. Should come up with like a catchier title. Just like this one. And even if you're just a complete beginner, don't worry. This is so simple. All you have to be able to do is the knit stitch and the purl stitch. And they're super duper easy. And for this one that I made, I used 7 pounds of giant yarn. So that's a fairly large throw blanket. I don't remember what the dimensions are, but I'll throw them up there. So I cast on 16 stitches for this one. But as always, it's just kind of a guideline. This one, I thought it would be nice to have it a little more of a square shape instead of like a long rectangle. And I think it's really pretty. I was really happy with how it came out. But of course, you can do whatever you feel like doing. So if you want it to be a slightly different shape, like longer and narrower, a little more rectangular, just cast on fewer stitches. And yeah, basically just, follow your heart. Yeah, and that's about it. So, all right, let's get right to it. All right, to start out, grab your yarn. And then we're going to measure out a 9 to 9.5 foot yarn tail. Then you're going to make a twist in your yarn, just like this. Then reach through that loop, grab the yarn, pull it back through the loop, and then just snug it down so it fits on your wrist comfortably. Then grab the yarn tail here, give it a twist, reach through that loop and grab the yarn that's going to your yarn ball, pull it back through that loop and pop it on your wrist, and then again just snug it down so it fits comfortably on your wrist. Again, grab the tail, give it a twist, reach through that loop, grab the live yarn and pull it back through, pop it on your wrist and gently snug it until it fits comfortably. And one last time, twist the tail yarn, reach through that loop, grab the live yarn, pull it back through, pop it on your wrist and gently snug it down. And then you'll just repeat that process until you've made 16 stitches total. Then gently take those stitches off your arm and then turn this around so that we can start knitting from right to left. To start, we're going to make one knit stitch. So grab your first stitch, reach through, grab the live yarn and pull that through. Make it about the size of your palm, or any size really, as long as you keep it consistent. Okay, so the next stitch is going to be a purl stitch. So pull the yarn to the front and we'll go through the back of the stitch. Grab the yarn and pull it through just like this. And then back to a knit stitch for this one. So reach through the front, grab that yarn and pull it through like this. Then a purl stitch is next. So yarn to the front of your work, then reach through the back of that stitch, grab the yarn, pull it back through like this. And you can really see the difference here between the knit and the purl stitches. The knit stitch kind of looks like a heart, and the purl stitch has this bump across the front. And now we're just going to continue this pattern of alternating back and forth between knit and purl stitches all the way across the row. So knit one, and then purl one, and then just repeat. And once we've finished our first row, you can see how alternating stitches make some of the stitches hide a little more in the back there. This won't be so much of an issue once we work a few more rows, but make sure you're extra careful to not miss any hiding stitches when we go back across for row 2. So we ended row 1 on a purl stitch. You can see that purl bump right there. So to start our seed stitch pattern, we're just going to be alternating everything. So this stitch was a purl, so on top of it, we'll do a knit stitch. Just like that. And the next one was a knit stitch. So on top of that, you'll just do a purl. And then hiding back here, we have another purl stitch. So you guessed it, we'll do a knit stitch on top of that. And one note here, it can sometimes be easy with hand knitting to accidentally twist your stitches. And here's what that would look like. If it's twisted, then one side of the stitch will look super long and the other side looks tiny and short. If you see that, just untwist it and both sides will be the same length. Okay, back to it. We'll put a purl stitch on top of this knit stitch. And then we're just going to continue alternating like this all the way across the row. And that is the whole pattern, guys. Just knit one, purl one, knit one, purl one, and make sure as you start each row that you're alternating there too. So when you end on a purl stitch, since we're just working across the front here, you'll start your next row with a knit stitch. And then just continue knit one, purl one. And then you just continue working back and forth across the front of your work until you've used up almost all your yarn. Okay, so I've used up most of my yarn here. And you can see at this point how much blanket we've knitted. Looks so fun. And now for the final cast off row, we're gonna make these stitches a little larger than we have been. We want the end here after we've cast off to still be able to drape nicely. And once you finish this last row, scooch back to the other side and we'll start casting off. So grab the last 2 stitches and just pop this last stitch over the one next to it. And then pop that stitch over the one next to it and repeat to the end of the row. Then you'll pull that yarn tail through and snug it down until it looks good. Okay, and then to finish this, I'll trim the tail about here and then weave it back and forth a few times until it disappears into the work, either on the top here or down along the side here. And then you'll use your felting kit to just felt that end into place so it doesn't pop out. And the same thing on this other end. And if you need detailed instructions on felting in the ends, I'll link my in-depth video on felting in the ends in the comments below. And boom, you're done. Look how gorgeous this is. All right, thank you so much for joining. I hope that was fun and helpful and that you love this blanket project as much as I do. Isn't it seriously so simple and gorgeous? It's one of my favorite combos. If you make your own giant yarn blanket like this, I would love to see it. If you're on Instagram, find me over there, tag me I'm at Peony and Time. As always, if you have any questions or need a little clarification on any part of the pattern, feel free to drop me a comment below and I'll do my best to get back to that. And that's about it. Thanks so much for joining and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.